This week, we have help from Dr. Izzy Justice.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
So Dr. Izzy Justice is a sports neuroscientist whose name I keep hearing. It's like there are certain names that you hear in golf, and you're like, I want to talk to that guy. And one of them is Dr. Izzy Justice. This guy scans players' brains and helps them play better golf with these things called NEURO-HACKS. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's a little bit of a beefy interview, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. I think it's going to help you guys play better golf. I think it's going to help me play better in my Mid-Am qualifier. Here I am with Dr. Izzy Justice. All right, I'm joined by, this is going to be a really interesting one. I'm joined by Dr. Izzy Justice. I guess I'll let you sort of describe your journey to golf and your work in the game.
Yeah. First of all, Dan, thanks for having me. And I say this all the time, but I think my journey to golf is very Forrest Gumpian. Like one random thing led to another random thing and led to another random thing, and the timing of both my past experience in consulting and human performance, and then this advent of technology that allowed us to look into the human brain wirelessly. Like I tell people all the time, from a human experience perspective, understanding how we work, how we think, how we behave, how we act, how we perform. I think 2015 was a game changer in the history of sort of mankind. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but what really changed is that from that period-ish onwards, we could for the first time look directly into the human brain as it was trying to do something of value. And in golf terms, like making a putt, hitting a golf shot. For regular people, it's being creative, those kind of things.
Before that, it was like to look into the brain, you'd have to like go into an MRI machine and like it wasn't practical?
Yeah, not just that. So that is true, not just that, but typically the only reason we would even look into the brain was what we call clinical. Something was broken. And so you went to go and specifically like where it was broken gave you a target to go see why it was broken, how can we fix it, trauma, brain injury, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. These are all neurological conditions where something is broken. It never occurred to us, at least not to most of us, to say, what if you're just a regular person and you just want to be the best version of yourself when it matters? So it doesn't matter that you're a good putter on the driving range, on the practice green, or in a practice round. It matters that you can take your skills to a tournament round, whatever that tournament round is for you, and make that putt. Like, do what you're capable of doing.
Okay, so basically, a golfer would come to you, and they would say, "I'm struggling with X, Y, or Z." How do you go about helping them?
Yeah. So great question. So. First of all, confession, when people call me, nobody calls me when they're playing well. And it's not just the golfers, right? Usually, not only are they not playing well, but they're rock bottom. And I would say 9.8 out of 10 times, like I haven't counted, but that high, the one thing, Dan, guess what, that they all have in common, right, is they all say, I have so much noise in my head. Like I have so many thoughts or technical thoughts or this, or I'm thinking about this, or, my hands shake, or like it's that kind of stuff. So there are three sort of premises. Let me go through these very quickly, and then I'll answer the question because then it'll make sense. So electricity is the language of the human brain. Not just that, but electricity is also the language of motor movement. But if you think about it, Dan, it has to be electricity. It can't be anything else. It can't be gravity. It can't be light. We need something so fast that we can protect ourselves. So for example, if I'm walking in the corner of my eye, I see a snake. Like that input, that visual input needs to go into the corner of my eye, and boom, in like microseconds, I need to say, danger, bad, I could get killed, and not just do that evaluation, that analysis, but then get my body to jump and run the other way. That's fast. And the only mechanism that can make that processing of danger fast and get your motor movement is electricity. So what I do when people come to see me is, and this is kind of key and groundbreaking, is I put a machine and I stand about 12 feet away from them. So I'm behind them or not in their line of sight. So I try to eliminate as many variables. And I look to see what is generally the electricity in their brain in the moments before, let's just take putting, before they hit a putt, while they're hitting a putt, And then after they hit a putt. And then is there a pattern? Is there a pattern when they make putts versus not making putts? I didn't know the answers to this question, to be honest. And I found that lo and behold, not only is there a pattern, like it's very clear. So if we were to simplify this, Dan, and let's just imagine that electricity is 0 to 100 hertz. 100 is very high. Like the best, like if I were to ask you, Dan, let me ask you, when you're putting your best, give me 3 words that you're thinking, feeling, or doing when you're putting your best.
I would say comfortable. I would say
Comfortable.
Loose. And I would say fearless. You're fearless. Thinking, I always talk about like when I'm playing my best golf, and this is actually good timing because I'm playing in a qualifier tomorrow. So we did a little pre-interview, and I think you can help me a little bit with some of these neural hacks that you have. But, I always talk about playing offense versus playing defense when you're playing golf. It's a totally different mindset, right? When you're thinking about, you see the right shot in your head, you're thinking positive thoughts as opposed to, I don't play my best when I'm thinking about the OB or the ridge past the hole where I really don't want to hit it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So those words that you use, comfort, fearless, and loose, I can give you 10 other words like that. Calm, relaxed, confident. All these are English language words. They're not real. They're just words. But they're all describing 10 hertz in the brain. So that's the frequency. And that's consistent from person to person. That's where you want to be. Yes. And I'll tell you why. At 10 hertz, 2 magical things happen. Now, think of traffic. When there's a lot of traffic and you want to get somewhere, well, it takes forever, right? But when there's no traffic, you just fly. Wherever you want to go, you're there in like 2 or 3 minutes. So when we have lots of thoughts, you're at 80, 90, 100 hertz. There's a lot of traffic in your brain. But the magic of 10 hertz is 2 things. And one of them you actually just said, ironically. Maybe you weren't aware of it. But the first magic of 10 hertz is that because the traffic is low, the sensory input is amplified. So you see the line, you feel your grip, you can even feel the weight of the putter head. Sensory input is always there, by the way. You're always seeing, hearing, feeling something. You know what I mean? I gave you the example when we did the pre-call. Like imagine you've had a very stressful day and you got a 30-minute drive home at the end of your day and you put music on. But when you get home and if your wife said or whoever said, hey, what did you listen to? You wouldn't be able to tell them. The input was there, but it was clogged because there was traffic in your brain. So the magic of 10 hertz in golf is that it gets the traffic down, and suddenly when you look at the target and you look back down, you remember it. You know exactly where the ball is going to go. You know exactly what tree you want to fade it off or draw it off, or the spot on the green that you want to land it on. You're feeling the grip pressure. Your entire body as you're making that backswing, you know without thinking how far you need to go. You're seeing the pattern that you want to shape the ball or the trajectory that you have. All of that is sensory input. And the sensory input can only be registered in the brain when the traffic is low at 10 hertz. Now, the other magical thing that happens at 10 hertz is, remember, all golf swings, putting, chipping, it's a motor movement. Like muscles have no memory. They get their command from the brain. And that command has to travel using electricity, right? So a quadriplegic, for example, Dan, their brain works fine. Their muscles work fine, but they have a spinal injury, so there's no electricity going, so they can't move their lower body. So the second magical thing that happens at 10 hertz is that the motor movement is exactly how you want it. You are magically applying the right sequencing for whatever shot you want to hit. You're magically applying the right force on that ball the way that you want to hit it. So I go back. When guys come to see me, or whoever comes to see me, I look at their brain, and this is what I think your viewers are going to love, in my opinion. The moment that you need to master, if you have a 60-second pre-shot routine, when in that 60 seconds, Dan, do you think you got to be at 10? When is it most important that you got to be at 10 hertz?
I would think right before you hit the shot, but maybe that's wrong.
No, that's right. That's exactly right. So if you're at 10 hertz while you're walking between shots, it doesn't matter. Or if you're at 100 hertz. Like, you know what I mean? But so the task of a golfer is because it's not a reactionary sport. Nobody's moving in front of you that you got to move along with them, like basketball. So it's so much of an easier ask of a golfer to say, hey, in my 60-second pre-shot routine, it's the last 10 seconds that I need to get to 10 hertz, right? And that's where the NeuroHacks come in. The NeuroHacks allow you to get to that 10 hertz in the moments that matter, because in those last 10 seconds, when you take that last look at the target, whether you're putting, chipping, at that moment, when you look back down, because the hardest thing about golf is that your eyes are not on the target. Golf is a target sport. There's no other target sport in the world where your eyes are not directly at the target.
Right. If you're like, I'm thinking about the guy who went super viral, the guy with the gun in the Olympics. He's just like eyeballing it.
Yes, exactly. But golf makes target hard because your eyes are down at the ball, and they have to be, because you got to strike the ball. So the brain's ability to remember what it just saw 3 or 4 seconds ago is critical. And I'll do so you're in LA right now, Dan?
I'm in LA right now.
Right.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you two questions. Okay. How far are you from?
From what?
Exactly. Okay. Let me ask you another question. How far are you? Okay. All right. Good. How far are you from New York?
2,500 miles.
There you go. Now look at the difference between those two questions. The only difference was I gave you a destination in the other one. And as soon as I said New York, did your brain not draw a line going east and kind of up?
Yeah, I've done that on maps before. I lived in New York at times. I wanted to see how far I was from home, and I've done that before.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the same thing that your golf brain needs over a ball when looking down. It needs to know where New York is. Where do I want the putt to enter the hole? What is that tree that I want to fade it off or dirt off? What is that landing position for my chip shot or my bunker shot? Without the destination, and the person that discovered these neurons in the brain, they're called grid neurons. The grid neuron is your destination, it's a target. The woman that discovered it won a Nobel Prize for them, because it's the destination, the target, that gives you a reference from how far you are from it, which creates scale, which creates force, which creates muscle sequencing. So that is best at 10 hertz.
How do you get someone to 10 hertz?
All right, there you go. So I, as a courtesy to you, I am going to give you 5 neurohacks, and let's do them together.
Let's go. Perfect for the qualifier tomorrow.
Yeah, and these are things that you can do in those 60 seconds. If at point 60 seconds before you hit the shot, your brain is saying, don't go left, my hands are shaking, don't leave it short, or, gosh, I'm just coming off 2 straight bogeys, I better hit a good shot. Well, you're nowhere near 10. So that would be a good example. Let me do a quick neurohack. So let's do the one that I did with you, if you don't mind.
I love that one because I'm going to tell you something. I went to dinner with some friends last night, and I was telling them about this, and they were like, oh, my God, that actually worked. So let's do it. I got to get a golf club, right?
Get a putter or just anything.
I'll grab a putter, yep.
Yeah, and again, while you're grabbing that, let me just tell everybody, NeuroHacks take somewhere between 5 to 10 seconds. And what they do is not permanently, but temporarily, it gets your brain to that magical 10 hertz where your sensory input is amplified and you can really see the target that you have picked, and which then allows you to have the right mode of sequencing to the shot that you want to hit. Right? So that's what a NeuroHack is. All right, so grab the grip. So please,
you have like 100 of these that you give your players or something.
I have several hundred, and I can measure them so I can make sure which ones work best for each one. But the ones that I'm going to give you, they work for 80% of all people. Right? Okay. So don't start, and if you're people watching, also don't start until I say go very loudly, because I need to explain to you. So not now, Dan, but when I say go very loudly, on a scale from 1 to 10, I want you to create grip pressure that is maximum 10. Not now, maximum 10. So go as fast as you can. Squeeze it really tight. Squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your jaw, squeeze your leg. Like, I want maximum tension in your body. I will only have you be in that position for like 3 to 5 seconds. But here's the key, Dan. When you're in that position, I'm then going to say go to 2, but I want you to go to 2 as slow as you can. You can even do a countdown, like a 9 and 8. And with each one, let go of a little bit of tension until there's just 2 left. When you get to 2, this neurohack is called 10-2. Ready?
I'm ready.
Right. And go. Squeeze. Tight, 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 tight. All right, go to 2 slow. Go to 2 slow. Okay. So what did 10 feel like to you? 2 or 3 words. Can't hear you, Dan.
I always do that. Andy's really mad at me. I said hot, squeeze, and tight.
Okay. And what did going to 2 feel like?
I would say clarity, slow, and chill. I mean, I'm going to say something that's a little bit not PG-13. It felt like after you do something really fun.
Yes. So the words that you used at the beginning of this session, you said comfort, fearless, and loose.
Yeah.
Those are the exact words that are similar to what you just said going to 2.
It really works, guys. If you didn't do that, like rewind and do it again, because it's almost like you just worked out.
Yeah. All right. So that's one. Now, is that something that you can do 60 seconds before you make a putt?
Definitely.
Is that something that you can do after you've made a triple bogey and you're walking up to the tee box to hit the next tee shot?
Yes.
Exactly. You don't need someone's permission. It's perfectly legal. You're using your hands. So
I gotta think the sports psychologists don't like you very much.
No, they don't.
Because and I want to ask you about this. Well, it's interesting because sports psychology is not a new discipline, right? Like people, be the ball, like all that. It's been around since Happy Gilmore 1.
Present.
How is what you're doing different? I mean, it's obviously different, but it almost feels like there's almost like a morality argument. Like, should there be these hacks? Should there be these like shortcuts? And you're just basically saying like there are.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we don't need to be perfect the whole round of golf. We can't even be perfect as human beings one whole day. But you know what we can do, Dan? We can be perfect when we need to be. Like one of the discoveries that I've made is that every higher human experience, like enjoying a meal with your friends, painting something, like something euphoric, laughing, they're all happening at around 10 hertz. And why this is different than psychology is because I think we're siblings of the same family, but I just view that, we just have newer information about the human brain. I gave you the analogy of using, a road atlas back in the day to navigate where you want to go. Well, now we have GPS. The road atlas is not wrong, but technology is allowing us to do simpler, faster, and more efficient ways. And that's what all this is. It's just a newer way because we have access to understanding the human experience better in a way that maybe 20 years ago, 100 years ago, we did not.
I'm going to be squeezing the crap out of that driver on the first tee tomorrow. Okay, let me get a few more for tomorrow.
Let's do a few more. Okay, so this is very similar to the other one, but this is kind of a low grade. Again, don't start until I say go very fast. Okay, now don't start doing it. I literally want you to count from 1 through 10, like logically, but as fast as you can. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Like count, all right? Then I want you to count down from 10 to back to 0 as slow as you can. Ready?
I'm ready.
And go.
Wait, am I supposed to do it out loud?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'll do it again. Okay.
And go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then am I supposed to go down?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Down to 2.
Yeah. No, down to 0. So it's called 10, 10. So
okay,
go to 10 super fast and go back to 0 super slow.
Okay. You tell me when.
Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
It's the same process of you almost put everything, you put all the stress into something.
Exactly. So what we're actually doing, just to go nerd on you just a little bit, and I apologize for that.
I love the nerd. Don't apologize.
Okay, good. So we have a system in our body. It's called the vagus nerve. It's basically our military system. It's all the organs that are designed to protect us when a lion is coming to eat us or there's a fire. When you do something aggressively, intentionally, like the squeeze and then you intentionally slow down after that, you're basically telling your brain, I'm not in real danger. Because there's a big difference between making a 6-foot putt that you got to make and a lion coming to eat you. They're not the same things, but your brain processes them with the
feel the same.
Exactly. But by doing these neurohacks, you're telling the brain, no. The one is an existential threat, and one is I just got to get to 10 hertz for the next minute or two, long enough for me to hit this shot. All right? You want to do one more?
Let's do one more, and then I have a few more questions before I let you go.
Okay. All right. So this one is take the palm of your hand like that. So look at the palm of your hand inside. Yeah, there you go. Now, not now. Look at me if you don't mind. Okay. So when I say go, I want you to look at the palm of your hand, and I want you to find 6 unique lines in the palm of your hand and see if you can just trace them like 2 or 3 seconds each. Ready? And go. Okay.
Never really paid attention to that before.
So I promise you, if I was measuring you right now, you'd be somewhere in the teens, right? And is this something that you can do if you're waiting on the tee box to hit your shot?
Yes.
Is this something you can do when you're waiting for your turn to make a 3-foot or 4-foot birdie putt?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So all you're doing.
So you're telling me there are top players, on the tours, whatever, who are using these hacks in competition, and it's making a difference in their games.
On every tour, yes. And all of these, not all of them, a lot of them are in my new book, which I told you about, The Brain Swings Every Club. So now you understand the title of the book. The brain really does swing every club.
Right. And so to sort of ignore it doesn't really make sense. I wanted to ask you, doctor, because you've studied so many different disciplines. There's a bit of a trend in our game, and I'm not, this is not new information here. Golf Digest wrote an article about this. Microdosing or not even microdosing, hallucinogens, mushrooms. Are a lot of people doing it? Is it to try to get to 10 hertz, and does it work? Yeah.
So to the best of my knowledge, the answer is yes, and this is all anecdotal data that I have. So I agree with the data that you're getting. There are 2 reasons that I think people are doing this. So one is just being human today is mentally very expensive. So I tell people all the time, it has never been easier, especially in the game of golf, to be technically good. Like there's so much technology now that is so easy to diagnose, even self-diagnose. And information. I mean, what you were saying about how we know about the brain is the same thing we know about golf swing and about, the force plates and all this stuff. Exactly. Videos, all those kinds of things. So it's never been easier to be technically good at golf, but it's never been harder to be mentally good at golf. And the reason is, like the average EEG, so EEG is the measure of the electricity in a human brain. And there's a doctor, Amen, he's done 80,000 brain scans. I've done about 18,000 brain scans, so he's done a lot more, and he's done it on the clinical side. But all neuroscientists around the world have the same data. So the average EEG, Dan, of a normal human being like you and me is the equivalent of a schizophrenic patient from the 1950s.
Come on.
Yes, sir. If I blindfolded you and put you in my DeLorean and took you to 1950, you would be clinically diagnosed as being schizophrenic. And that's because of these little suckers over here. We're just consuming constant stimulation. So these drugs that people are taking, it's just to get the noise down in their brains. It's just like there's so much pressure and tension and input and negativity that we're consuming on a constant basis that the brain just wants a break. And so as professional athletes, there are many drugs that you cannot take, but there's some that you can. So to me, those drugs are a shortcut. You don't need those drugs if you learn how to use NeuroHacks.
And there's a downside to the drugs.
Absolutely. So the brain, if you hey Dan, take your hands and kind of join them like this.
Okay.
Yep. So if you look at that, and from your wrist up is the size of your brain. So from the wrist up, if you join your hands like that, that's the size
small,
of your brain. It's that small, and it's caged in your skull. So you can't touch one thing in the human brain and not touch like a whole bunch of other stuff. That's why medication, unless you're a harm to yourself and to others, should be taken very seriously. Like you should only take medication that impacts the human brain if you're harmful to yourself or to others. Because you can't fix one thing and not screw up a whole bunch of other stuff. And at the end of the day, we want sensory input. We want to taste the food that we're eating. We want to pay attention to someone that's talking to us and listen to their story and be present. We want to laugh. We want to cry. We want to feel sadness. We want to feel joy. We want to feel sorrow. We want to be creative. These are all cognitive conditions, and that's what creates a rich human experience. That's what makes us feel good each day, is when, you know, you think of many things, you feel many things.
I mean, we could do this all day. Yeah. I know you. Are there any players that you can tell me that you work with?
There are a few out there, and maybe I'll tell you who they are. But you can see them if you watch the guys that I work with, and I work with many on the PG, on all the tours, frankly. And some of them were kind enough to give me their name for the book. Like on the Corn Ferry Tour, it's Cole Hammer and Kyle Westmoreland and Kyle Stanley, and like just a bunch of guys. And you know, you should have them on your show and ask them how they use it. There are other guys that I don't feel comfortable sharing with you right now, but at some point I will, I'm sure. And I think you'll be surprised.
Well, I'm gonna be is it Neurohack or Neurohack?
Neurohack. Neurohack.
NEURO hack.
Yes. Let's do one more just to wrap up.
Let's do it.
Okay. Grab that putter again. Okay. So all I want you to do is take your right hand. Are you right-handed, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, good. So just hold the putter with your left hand anywhere you want, like maybe in the middle of the shaft somewhere. Okay, now take your right hand and just kind of close your eyes and feel the shaft all the way to the putter with your right hand. Like take your right hand on, yeah, exactly. Just go all the way down to the putter head. Feel the grooves and the shape of the putter head.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So again, what you're doing is you're giving your brain sensory input. Sensory input is 10 hertz because there's no judgment. It's happening right now. And all sensory input goes to the same bedroom in the brain called the thalamus. So by activating one, you're activating all of them. So when you do go over the ball, I want you to feel comfortable, fearless, and loose. That means when you use those terms, I want you to understand that when you say comfort, fearless, and loose, you are basically saying that my senses are super active. I am present. I see my target. I feel my club head. I'm going to send this ball where I want it to go.
Interesting.
So use the NeuroHacks in the last 60 seconds. Gauge where your thoughts are. If they're negative in nature, do a NeuroHack. But if you're good, like a baseball pitcher throwing a no-hitter, you're fine. You don't have to do anything.
Right. Right. Yeah. So it's not like if I watch your guys, they're not going to be doing it on every single shot.
Exactly.
It's when they notice, oh God, I got some negative thoughts creeping in, or I don't like this tee shot or whatever it might be.
If you miss a 2-foot putt, you better be doing a NeuroHack on your way to the next $2, right?
I'll keep that.
Exactly.
I will not forget that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. I really appreciate it. This has been fascinating. Everyone, go check out his book, The Brain Swings Every Club. I actually do feel great right now, which I know you're probably just thinking, oh, he's just saying this. Do those hacks we were talking about and notice how everything just seems to slow down. And it's kind of amazing. So I really appreciate you hopping on, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Cheers.